Carol Meinhart, selling homes 24/7 at the Real Estate Group, is here today sponsoring our segment and is going to tell us everything we need to know if you are trying to buy or sell a home. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here, and I have a lot of questions about what to do. Let's start with buying. If I'm trying to buy a home, how would I find a good agent? How would I go about looking for homes? What are some suggestions you have?
Well, if you're in the buying market and you don't have an agent yet, that's the first thing you need to do, okay? You need to find a buyer's agent, and you can do that many different ways. You can Google them, you can have a referral from, somebody at work, a friend or whatever. Those are probably the best two ways to find an agent. Another way would be to go to open houses and maybe just interview the agent that's hosting the open house.
That's a really good suggestion of how to actually meet people face to face. And I know some things have changed recently. It used to be you could go out sometimes with several different buying agents and things like that, but now you actually sign a contract with your agent, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Nothing really has changed other than you have more paperwork for us.
Oh, gotcha.
You do have to sign a contract with your buyer's agent saying that, you're going to pay them a certain percentage, but, most buyer's agents are going to ask the seller to pay that fee, but it just commits you to working with them. And really, that's a win-win for both of you because you're committed to them, they're committed to you. Of course, they're a buyer's agent. They need to get paid. They don't do it for free.
Of course.
The transaction ends up the same. It's just we have to disclose, we have to put it on the contract that they're asking for this much to be paid, at closing.
And I think it's better too because then, like you said, the commitment on both sides, they can really get to know what you're looking for and you can really get to know them. So I think it's great.
And if you just call random people and, you work with, like in the past, there's some people that would work with 10 or 12 different agents. That's not really fair to each of those agents.
Of course.
And you're not getting any commitment from anybody.
Right.
So.
And then what about if you're selling your home? What are some tips for staging it appropriately, when to have an open house, things like that?
Well, if the house is vacant, I do like to do some staging, but very small, like what we have here. You don't need to bring in 3 beds and, a dining room table and all that stuff. If you had a couple chairs, a picture over the fireplace, just, maybe some fresh flowers, just something like that, just small to make it a little bit more warm, whenever you're coming in. And if the person lives there at the house that they're trying to sell, they need to declutter. Take it down, all the personal pictures, all the personal, everything personal. And if there's a lot of stuff around, they just need to pack it up. Even if they pack it up and put it in the garage, but when they're walking in, they need to feel themselves in here, not somebody else.
Right, they kind of need to be able to visualize their own things.
Yes.
That makes sense. And besides decluttering, what needs to be done as far as, do the walls need to be a certain color or do paintings need to come down and things like that?
If it's a painting that's not for everyone's taste, I would recommend that it comes down. Less is best, in my opinion. You might want to have a couple things up, but you don't want your entire wall to be full of stuff. And as far as like the paint colors and stuff, something neutral would be nice. But the most important part about selling is to have your house deep cleaned.
Okay.
Buyers are immediately turned off if they walk in and your house is not clean. So I would recommend that to any seller.
And I bet especially if you have a pet or something like that, you want them to walk in and not sense an animal or smoke smell or something like that. So I imagine having it smell nice is also a bonus.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I know we are in a property right now. Can you show me on a little walking tour what are some things, if I were buying a home, I might want to look out for if I go and look at a property?
Sure.
All right, awesome. We're in the kitchen, so what are some things I would look for in the kitchen?
You want to make sure you look at all the appliances, take a look about how old they are, make sure they work. and you want to keep note of, what they are. When I have a buyer that is interested in a home, I'll snap pictures of the appliances while we're there, just to keep a record of what they wore, because you'd be surprised that maybe sometimes they might be switched out before closing.
Oh, interesting. See, that sounds like something that comes from years of experience.
It does.
How would I make sure that I find a very experienced selling agent or buying agent?
Well, for me personally, I mean, most of my people come from Googling me because I have strong Google reviews and referrals. I would say 90% of my business is from past clients or just referrals in general of people that know me. So if somebody refers you an agent, I would take the opportunity to at least have a meeting with them.
Sounds good. All right, and then I always like to open all of the cabinets.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
See, this kitchen has a pantry. I love that.
And then we have a coat closet right back here.
Okay,
When you come in from the garage,
All right.
This is a coat closet. And
Oh,
then,
that's a big coat closet.
it is. And then you come back here, and there is no washer and dryer, so you do want to make note of that. And then another thing that most people look at is the furnace or the water heater.
And you kind of want to look at what year those were.
What year they are,
Okay.
and if they look like they're in good condition. And sometimes people will have service records.
Oh, okay.
So-
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. So it has the wash bin, but doesn't have the washer and dryer. Is having a washer and dryer included something you could ask for in the contract?
You could.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Just
they
depends.
either say yes or no.
Right. Yeah.
All a negotiation.
That's right.
And then what is this?
That's the garage.
Oh, okay.
And one thing that this condo has that, some homes don't have is there's really no steps. There's a little step right there, but there's no steps in the front. So that's good, especially, maybe for older people or people that might have some mobility issues.
Right. Well, thank you very much for all this information and for sponsoring our segment today.
Thank you.
And if you want more information about Carol Meinhart selling homes 24/7 at the Real Estate Group, you can visit us on the web at ciliving.tv.